8:11 right now. March Madness is in full swing, and with it comes a thrill of college basketball. And for many fans, the excitement of betting on the games. Millions of dollars get wagered each year. And while some lucky winners are going to win cash in big, well, there's still a bit of a catch because Uncle Sam wants a piece of the action, if you know what I'm talking about. We're joined by our friend Marty E. Martin Davidoff, who's a nationally recognized tax expert, attorney, and CPA with Prager Medicine Cranberry, a man who does not talk like I just spoke. Marty, thanks for joining us this morning. Good to have you on.
It's great to be here. And it's not just millions, it's going to be over $3 billion in betting on the NCAA. And that's just the legal betting. Uh, and,
Wow.
and in the
And it's
Super
okay to
Bowl,
bet, right? You just have to give Uncle Sam his cut. You can bet.
it's okay to bet, and you're supposed to give Uncle Sam his cut. All income from gambling is taxable. And it's not, you can't necessarily offset your losses, and that's the problem.
So explain what that's about because you've talked about this. If what if you itemize? If you itemize, can you show how much money you've spent, how much money you've lost, how much money you've won, and do it that way?
Well, let's talk in the field of non-professional gamblers who are not in their own business. So basically, what you've got to do is you've got to report all of your winnings. Let's take a very simple example. Here in New Jersey, you go to Atlantic City every Saturday and you win $100, and every Sunday you go and you lose $100. So for the year, you broke out even. You won $5,200 on Saturdays and you lost $5,200 on Sundays. How do you report that? You report the $5,200 up what is called above the line as part of your gross income. The 5,200 losses that you had, you can only report if you itemize your deductions. Nearly 90% of the people do not itemize their deductions. So you have a quirk in the law. And by the way, this is only for federal purposes, because New Jersey does something different. But for federal purposes, you have to report the $5,200 of income, and you get no benefit from the losses. You're paying 50 tax on 5,200, even though you made zero.
That's crazy. And that's
Now,
so important. So take the time to itemize, right?
well, but you may not have enough deductions to itemize. Most people don't. All right. You have to hit over 14,600, nearly 30,000 if you're filing jointly. And New Jersey has a different rule. New Jersey's rule is you can offset those winnings and losses against each other. You can't take a net loss, but you would report the 5,200 above the line. You don't have to itemize or anything. You can report the losses against it. And there's a whole group of people coming to say, let's advocate a change in the federal law so that you can net the winnings and losings that you have, and up to the point of winning, so you don't have to end up reporting income when you're not making any money.
Gotcha. And what about also along the lines of gambling? We forget that playing the lottery is gambling. If you win 25, 30, $40, especially now that people are gambling with the online apps in New Jersey, you can use the lotto.com and Jackpocket, et cetera.
Right.
They keep records, don't they? Do they report your winnings to the IRS?
If you generally they should be reporting winnings if you made more than 300 to 1 odds. And sports gambling's like that too. So consider this: you bet $100. For me, it's going to be on the St. John's team because I really like
Hmm.
them. You bet $100.
Yeah.
Maybe they make the final four and you win $5,000. So here you have $5,000 on a $100 bet, and you report that as income. But let's say throughout the on different days you're making different bets, and you win $5,000 on. And by the way, that 5,000 doesn't get reported to the IRS. The IRS only gets reporting for sports gambling if it's more than 300 to 1 odds and over $600. And the history of that is the old trifecta at the track. You'd bet $200, you got 300 to 1 odds, and you'd report anything over 600 if you had 300 to 1 odds. The reality is the law is there, but the reporting has not caught up with the explosion in sports gambling. And in the Super Bowl, 1.4 billion was bet in the Super Bowl. Some people say it was up to 23 billion, but over 100 million people made bets. Now, whether or not you agree with gambling or not, the fact is it's the reality, and they should change the law to offset it so that if you you can offset all of them. Today, there's a little bit of offset. So if you go down to Atlantic City, Ken, and you spend the entire day there and you win some and you lose some, you can take all those winnings and losings in one session, all right? And you can offset them. Let's say you're playing slots machines at a casino. So you're at the casino, you play from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., then you go take a dinner break, and you come back to the same casino. They'll consider that all one session up until midnight. But if you go to
Gotcha.
another casino, so let's say you win at one casino, go lose at another casino, those are two separate sessions. You can't offset them. And the rules are very
Interesting.
complicated. And it's really easy. There's a bunch of us that are, going to Congress and saying, look, Democrats, Republicans, all of you, this is a win for the little guy. And this is the other thing. It's the little guy who gets hurt. The big guy who bets hundreds of thousands of dollars, he's going to have hundreds of thousands of dollars of winnings. He's going to have hundred thousands of dollars of losings. Clearly, he's going to itemize his deductions. But the little guy who doesn't get the benefit of itemized deductions, that's where it hurts. So a reform here that we're hoping to change will really help the small gambler, the occasional gambler, the person who may bet on the NCAA this weekend, and those session laws that I'm talking about. If you made 5 bets one weekend, or one night, those could offset. But if you make win this weekend and next weekend you lose, you can't offset those. You have to itemize them if you have sufficient.
This is why you have to hire an expert. And we had this conversation last time. If you're going to pay 150 for, I don't want to mention one of the national chain names, spend $100 more or whatever and get a CPA, the real guy, like we have on our screen right now. I'm not suggesting I don't know what you charge, but I know what my guy charges. And it just for the peace of mind of knowing that you have, this is why you have the title, the CPA. You go through years of schooling, you know the tax laws front and back. And then you guys have all the specialty programs and stuff, right? So you know as
Well,
things
yeah,
get
we have
updated and
specialty tax
whatnot.
prep, but on this stuff, like many of your things on your tax returns, on these things, it's a matter of records. Does the
Right.
taxpayer have the records? And believe me, if they could allow offsets, all of your online gambling would be very simple. You get the report from the online gambling place, and there you've got all your records. But right now, you get your report. Now you have to say, okay, when did I have sessions that I can net against each other and when I can't? If they change the law, and maybe each of your listeners here, somebody knows a congressman, put them in touch with us, and we'll give them all the information. But it really is unfortunate, but keep good records, not just for sports gambling, but for your business. That's where it really comes out, Ken.
Well, it's probably good then to I always put everything on a credit card, not for the offset of paying, but so that I have a record and that I can go back and look at the credit card. I have the date, I have how much I spent, I can make the note, etc. And that's why especially anything business related, is always on the
Yeah.
credit card. So I have that record. This way, it's not just my word. It's not that, yeah, I paid Joey $58 in cash. No, you have the credit card. The bank is not going to lie on my behalf. So E. Martin Davidoff, nationally recognized tax expert, attorney, and CPA with Prager Metis in Cranberry, New Jersey. Thank you, as always, for joining us. We hope to see you again real soon, please. Great advice today.
Yeah, great to be here, and I'll see you next week on another topic.
You bet.